What's going on, guys? Welcome to Right Trac Detroit's Music Mondays, episode 10. So, this week I wanted to do the live stream and I wanted to really connect with the audience a little bit and let you guys know why music and why I chose music, and then a little bit history of through my journey through music. So also, we're going to talk about the Detroit rap scene because that's what Right Trac Detroit Music Monday is all about. Is usually I have an artist on, we talk to them a little bit, and then get to hear a couple of their songs. Well, this week I wanted to do the video and the audio to kind of connect with the new audience. So if you guys are listening on the podcast right now, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch and actually see this as well. And you'll actually be able to get some visuals. I wanted to add this in, just kind of, how can I make this show the best for everyone and make it easily accessible for everyone as well. So that's kind of the game plan for today, and then also with the show and everything like that. From here on in the future, I'd like to get maybe some guests on to do some video interviews as well. I think that might be interesting. If you guys, are interested in that, definitely let me know. Hit me up on any platform at Matt J. Kirshner. If you're watching, it's all over the screen right now. So let me start it off way, way back to when I was like 7 years old. My uncle and my mom took me to an Aerosmith concert. And this was probably one of my first encounters in the city of Detroit. We were at Cobo Hall. I believe it was Cobo Hall. Anyways, we were down there and watching Aerosmith perform, and I know I vaguely remember I think the biggest thing I remember was the sound waves, that boom, 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 that bass and everything coming, and I think that was probably the earliest thing I remember as far as my love for music coming in. So 2, maybe 3 years later, when I was in fifth grade, me and three of my buddies around the neighborhood, we started a little band. You know what I'm saying? So there was two of them on guitar, I was on bass, and then my buddy was playing the drums. So we did the fifth grade talent show. We went up and we did our thing, and then from there, I ended up picking up another instrument, the alto saxophone. You know what I'm saying? So that was something I really enjoyed. And then over time, while I was playing the bass and the alto at the same time, that boom boom, that deep bass that really fell for me, and I had a instructor who asked if I wanted to play the baritone, and it just fit me so well because instead of that, it's that boom 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 boom, it's that deep bellow, and I really enjoyed that. So I did that for quite a few years until about my freshman year is when I stopped playing instruments so heavily. But what I did get into was, the hip hop culture pretty deep, and I fell in love with music and everyone doing their thing too. Because once you see that, you hear a 3 minute song and you think, oh, this is a 3 minute song, whatever. You move on with your day. But what you don't hear is the hours and hours and weeks of time it puts into stuff like that. So I got really interested in that, and really interested in just hip hop in general, and I started delving deeper until a couple years ago, in 2012 is when I really, really, really found my passion. And it was interesting how it happened. I guess it was more 6 years in the making to find it, but it started off in 2012, and I was renting a house with my buddy and my ex-girlfriend at the time. And we used to like host a lot of parties because we were like the youngest kids. We all had houses. Most people were still living with their parents. And this was up in northern Michigan. I only lived there for a couple years. I'm back in Metro Detroit now. But anyway, long story short, this kid came over for a party. He didn't have nowhere to rest his head, so we had a spare room, whatever. We let him stay. And, like a week, 2 weeks in, I just see this kid writing 12, 16, 18 hours a day, writing all day. I'm like, man, this kid, I mean, he's got something. And his love for hip-hop, like, just, it extended forever. So seeing that inspired me. I pulled up my computer, made a PowerPoint presentation, and I was like, look, here's the deal. I see you working your ass off. I support it, and I want to like follow the dream. I want to be your manager. I want to like, just we'll take over the world. So this was a year before we really established the company, but this was really the year that kicked it off. And shortly after that, I went and bought a microphone, some recording software, got it loaded, and I was like, yo, here you go, do something with it. And he's like, well, I don't know how to do it. So what ended up happening is I just kind of fell into it. And I was like, well, I'll help you out until we can find someone to do this full time. And what happened was we just started working. When I wasn't at work, I would work 12, 16-hour days. And then the days that I was working, at the day job, I would end up working 6 to 8. And we would just record and record and record. And, we failed so much to just figuring out how to do it and putting everything together. And we did that for about 6 years. And it was really good. And I've shared on my podcast before, but I'm on here now, so I might as well just kind of just share with my audience as much as I will. I'm doing video and everything like that now, but, my time in and out of jails kind of stopped our development from sometimes, and unfortunately, he was in and out of the system as well. So, as much as I did it for 6 years, I also spent 2.5 years in and out of jails and prisons. So there was a lot of lag time and falling behind and building back up, and, we had 2 computer crashes with at least 2 to 3 mixtapes worth of work and content that never got published and never got seen again, unfortunately. We found a couple stragglers here and there, but it is what it is. So I did that for about 6 years, and I did the sound engineering for 6 years after I fell in love with that. But I also did some producing in there, and I also the last 6 months of my, I guess, in the music career was spent writing music, recording it, producing it, editing it, and then going on stage. And I did that for, like I said, for about 6 months. And then I just kind of took a step back and I said, what do I love to do? So I retired my pen and the beat pad, and I discovered podcasting at the same time. And I fell into this, and I fell in love with it as well. It was this whole new medium that I had no idea existed. And, since then I found Twitch and just so much more on YouTube and all these other things. And it just really excited me. So I guess essentially what I'm saying is through my journey through music, and from 7 years old until today at 24, I just realized that being able to talk about music, which is what I love, and being able to interview people and give them the opportunity that I never had, that person that maybe interviewed them to give them that extra hope, or maybe not even the hope, but an extra pair of eyes on them or anything like that, and inspiring the youth and trying to do something beneficial with it. And, that also ties with the what I was telling you about with the incarceration, and that's something that I'm working on too, and I want to be able to give back. But I'll be able to talk about that in more episodes. I got a meeting today at 4:30, so that's really good. And what's really awesome at this point is through my music and my love for music, this podcast was established. And I actually publish 2 episodes every week. On Mondays, you get Right Trac Detroit's Music Monday. And it's more recent. This is the 10th week of us doing it. But I also have a Thursday episode that's been published for just a little bit longer. And we have 18 episodes. This week will be 19. I think we're going to be 20 on this week. So we're going to be up at 30 episodes in total, and I'm really excited about that, and I really appreciate all the fans that keep coming back every week and listening. I see you guys downloading, and I appreciate you, and you have no idea. So big shout out to you guys. So where we at? We're going to dive into some of the Detroit scene now. So on Mondays, like I said, we usually interview people, artists in Detroit, but now we're just going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in the culture. This is awesome for me because I get to do research on the stuff that I love the most, and music, and I really got to get back to my roots when I started this episode, or this channel, whatever you want to say, 10 weeks ago. So now I'll be able to talk on here and connect with a new audience as well. So I'm really excited about that, and welcome to everyone who's on here, and I hope you guys get some value out of this, because I love the city of Detroit, I love the culture of Detroit, and I love music beyond anything. So this show, this podcast, gives me the opportunity to talk about the things that I love. So without further ado, if you guys just bear with me for a second, I'm pretty new on this Streamlabs, but I'm figuring it out, So we're going to hop over and we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that is going to be interesting, that I think is popping right now. So T Grizzly just dropped an album, and we're going to look at that right now. Here we go. I know That's money. All right, here we go, guys. And this is what we're going to be talking about. So, T Grizzly, Still My Moment. This just dropped on the 9th. And I'm really excited about it because I thought this whole thing was fire. I'm kind of an early sleeper, so I was in bed at midnight when it dropped. I didn't listen to it. But literally, the first thing I did when I woke up in the morning was listen to this whole thing. It was 40 minutes. Let me see the exact time so I don't butcher it. If it says, I don't know. Here we go, 40 minutes. Yeah, so it was 40 minutes, and I thought it was all good. A couple songs highlighted that I think were my favorite. I like how he did the Mr. Grizzly. He kind of like introduced himself a little bit in this. You know what I'm saying? Two songs were released as singles before the album dropped, and those two songs were, if I'm not mistaken, I know it was Wake Up with featuring Chance the Rapper. And let me just say a little bit about Chance the Rapper. I've been following him since about 2012, 2013 when he first started coming out, and I've just seen the progression in his music, and it's been phenomenal. And I'm a big fan of Chance. He did a couple singles this year. I did not see a new project from him, but that's not to say that something won't be coming out soon, because I know he's been doing a ton of features, and usually when you see an artist doing like a feature run, it's up, building up to an album or something like that. So we'll look forward to that. Chance, another thing too, I saw him live perform at the Palace in Auburn Hills in Michigan, and that was an amazing show. He had this thing that went on the stage. He hopped up, and then it lifted over the crowd, so he had a stage over the whole crowd. So even the people in the back, he had an opportunity to reach out to, which I thought was pretty cool. Excuse me. So that was cool. Shout out Chance, and this song "Wake Up, Wake Up, Wake Up." It's really dope, and it gets you hype. So that one was released, and then "Pray for the Drip." And now I don't know about you, but when the Migos first came out, I was like skeptical, But then I started really kind of getting into it and really listening to it. I think a lot of the time I'm skeptical at the beginning with a lot of artists, and then I kind of just see if they continue to produce music, and then I start to dive deep into them, which is actually something I did with T Grizzly as well. But with that being said, Offset, I think, killed this fucking song, and I love it. Pray for the Drip. We used to pray for the drip. So that was really cool. And then there was a couple other features on here that I wanted to highlight. Lil Pump, they did Bitches on Bitches. And I personally like the collab they did before this with Jet Ski. I like that more than this one, but this was still good. I fuck with it for sure. And I was introduced to a new artist, and I did a little bit of research on YNW Melly, and I thought he had a pretty good flow, and I'm interested to kind of see where his career goes, because instead of me being skeptical now, I'm trying to be more open about everything and just kind of absorb all this new music that's coming in, because there's a lot of people coming up every day. Like every day, people are pushing music. It's the people that catch fire and keep rolling and are consistent with it are the ones that continue to grow. So I love seeing those stories, and we'll definitely be highlighting more. It's going to be more Detroit focused, but we're going to highlight some stuff like I talked about Chance and Offset a little bit. And we'll keep diving like this. I feel like I'm talking super fast, so I'm going to attempt to slow it down for y'all. Let's see. Still My Moment was, I think, 4 or 5 stars, and 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think it was pretty good through and through. Nothing really like major hiccups that I was like, man, I wasn't really messing with it. But I've listened to it once all the way through, and I've listened to quite a few other songs a couple of different times too. So I don't know. It's just I think it was really good, and I want to give a big shout out to everyone at Royal House Recording. I know that Julian did a lot of work, and all the guys over there at Royal House did some awesome stuff on this album, and they're going to continue to keep working with all these Detroit artists, and I love that because, I had an opportunity to be in there. Big thanks to Julian. I appreciate you, bro, for giving me that opportunity, and it's crazy in there, and I just hope one day that I'll be able to have a studio that we'll be able to do some cool stuff out of too. So I'm really excited for everyone over there and all these people collabing. One big thing I love about Detroit, and I'm sure this happens in other parts of the country as well, but what I love about Detroit is a lot of these artists, they end up working together. So what's cool is Helluva worked on 8 out of how many of these? 15. He worked on 8 of 15 beats on here. And Helluva, he's a really cool dude. I vibe with what he's doing in the city too, because he's got that Detroit style beats, but he's making it for people like Lil Baby. Let me, before I just start ranching stuff off, let me give you some legit facts. Oops, I just opened something up, guys. I'm sorry, you're gonna see this on the screen most likely, unless I pull it down. Here we go. That's good. All right, so that worked out. Let me tell you a little bit more about Helluva. Actually, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. My bad, I'm a little all over the place, but I did want to talk about T Grizzly just a tad more, because I had some mixed feelings about him originally, right? He comes out 2016 with First Day Out, and I hear this song, and I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't really that introduced to the Detroit style, but in all reality, like I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't vibing with it as much as what it was probably, and which is cool, man. I understand that there's different styles, and now I'm obsessed, and I love it. I love it now that I've been exposed to it more, So I've listened to a bunch of interviews on T Grizzly after I had that first pre-misconception, because I realized that you need to like understand the artist a little bit before you can understand their music. So I did my research and I started diving into T Grizzly, and he had some really cool stuff to say on the No Jumper interview that I was kind of fascinated with. And then I kind of found a theme over the couple interviews, and he seems like a really humble dude, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. So shout out to him on his journey. And I know he's been in and out of the prison systems too. And that song he did with Chance too, he was like, pray for the trenches, and then like taking care of the youth and shit. And I think that's really important. Now he's trying to motivate the trenches, motivate the youth. So that's good, man. I think he's on the right path, and to really starting to motivate some people. And I'm excited about that, because he's got me motivated. I know he's gonna do some good stuff in the city, and try to get back as best as he can and as best as he knows how. So that's really cool. He just he's out there doing good things in the city, man. He's making moves, and I'm excited to see more projects out in the future. I know he's gonna ride this one. He's gonna go do some touring, I'm sure, and I'd definitely love to see him live too. I think that'd be a really cool experience. So he did that First Day Out with Helluva, and then Helluva did ridiculous amount of stuff. So I don't know exactly how many songs he's done with T Grizzly, but the whole First Day Out, or that First Day Out song, and then like the album right after, I know he did that, and he's done songs with Kodak Black, multiple. I wish I could see all of them, man. I guess I can. I'm gonna put this down a little bit so it's not on your guys' face, so I apologize about that. And if you guys are listening, you have no idea what's going on, but I just had my phone up, so that's my fault. A Boogie with a Hoodie, Molly Brazzy, Young T.O., Kodak Black, Asian Doll, Bad Baby. Let's see, Team Eastside, Peasy. Oh yeah, Peasy. I've been hearing a lot about him too, and I'm interested to dive a little deeper, because after listening to a couple things, I'm like, okay, I can see why people mess with him. But we're gonna dive a little bit more. Maybe we'll do a cap episode, and maybe try to get him on the show too. We'll see if that's something you guys are interested in. Payroll Giovanni. He's worked with so many people. Snap Dogg. The list goes on, and that's just that's Detroit people and people that aren't from Detroit. Like people like Kodak. He's from Florida. So that's really cool. All right, cool. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Detroit's own Icewear Vezo. So he just recently got signed to Motown Records, which I think is awesome, because Motown is Detroit. That's Detroit love, and you got a Detroit artist on there as well. So that's pretty great that he had the opportunity to be involved with that company, and I think he's really excited about it. You know what I'm saying? He said he's bringing Detroit back, and I believe it, man. And if I keep seeing music, this guy's been making music for forever, man. He's one of the Detroit legends, man. I remember 5 years ago, I was at the Big Show with the Joe. Like Big Sean was headlining, Kendrick Lamar was there, J. Cole was there, a bunch of people, and Icewear Bezo opened up for all of them. I'm like, okay. And that wasn't my first introduction to him, but that was my first time seeing him live. So that was pretty cool. And now seeing 5 years later, signed to Motown Records with people like Rich Homie Quan. Who else is on there? Little Baby, Gunna. Who else? A bunch of people, man. There's a ridiculous amount of people signed to Motown. So it's cool to see him with that. And I'm excited about it. So this has been a really good episode of Right Trac Detroit's Music Mondays. Guys, if you're listening and you've been enjoying these shows so far, I want to just do me a favor and just tell a friend. You know, nothing more. Just let them know that the podcast exists and let them know where to find it if they don't know what a podcast is. You know, it's just people who enjoy it. So we're just trying to build this community as big as possible with like-minded people that are interested in the rebirth of Detroit and the culture and the music and the love and everything that's going on in this city. The stuff that's, you know, the major publications don't really talk about, like, you know, Fox and CNN, and they like to report on the bad stuff that's happening, but there's a lot of good stuff that's happening in Detroit too, and I feel like the more that we talk about the good stuff, the more good will happen. And I really believe if you do the right things happen time and time again. And that's why I don't know, I don't necessarily preach it, but I just believe it so wholeheartedly that I hope you guys understand that it's definitely possible to show something and turn it to reality. You know, think about it like this: you're a product of your environment, and you hear all these cliches, but in all reality, this shit's real. I really believe that. When I was in and out of the system, that staying in there affects you, and then they don't give you any resources when you get out to change your life. So let me get off my soapbox real quick. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you like the show, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. No, you guys are awesome. You're great. I appreciate you staying live with me, and I appreciate you guys just with everything on the podcast, the love going on Instagram, DMing me and everything like that. It means a lot, and I love to hear from you. So you guys are absolutely phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed the first live episode of Right Trac Detroit's Music Monday.